Hello, I'm Lorenzo Legaspi, and this is the Don't Do Work podcast. So, today on the podcast, we'll be looking at some controversy sparked by Jay-Z throughout the years of him talking about black rights movements and the such. So, through his songs, we'll be analyzing whether either his black rights songs are a cash grab, or if they're actually a push for a real movement in African American rights. So, just to clarify, we'll be looking at the actual lyrics and a music video, if it's included, of these songs. Not the actions of Jay-Z or what other celebrities say about him. We're going to be talking about the lyrics, the language, the tone, etc., things like that. We're not going to be talking about extraneous things. So first, we're going to be talking about Jay-Z's 99 Problems song. So, just as a general premise of the song, just to give a little background, the song was created in 2003, is released, and a lot of what the song talks about are the problems or issues that an African American goes through, and one of these issues that is seen throughout the song is black driving, and this can be seen through the quotes that I'm about to read, saying, "So I pull over to the side of the road. I heard, 'Son, do you know why I'm stopping you for? 'Cause I'm young, and I'm black, and my hat's real low?' And it goes on to say, 'Well, you was doing 55 and a 54. License and registration, and step out of the car. Are you carrying a weapon on you? I know a lot of you are. Well, let's see how smart you are when the K9 come.'" He goes on to say later in the song. So, when you're looking at the song and you're analyzing it, when I was analyzing it, I thought a few things. First, I thought of the exaggerations made in the song. So, first thing you can see obviously was, well, he was doing a 55 and a 54. That was the biggest exaggeration I saw in the song. And obviously, no police officer is gonna pull you over because you're doing a 55 and a 54. But this exaggeration kind of plays off the fact that the police officer just pulled him over because he was black, not because he was actually doing anything wrong. And these exaggerations help create the illusion that they were pulled over for a specific reason. No, it was just because they were black. And this kind of goes on to the next point I was going to go over, which is making assumptions. So, in the third line of this quote, we can see him saying, "Are you carrying a weapon on you? I know a lot of you are." So, this is a theme that went on throughout the entire song, but a lot of the song is explicit, and I didn't really want to go over those explicit parts as it wasn't really appropriate. So, this is a part of the song which I found to be the best representation of this point. So, something else that I was going to go over was that in the line here, "Well, we'll see how smart you are when the K9 come." So, this quote was made after Jay-Z, so supposedly Jay-Z was talking to the police officer saying he didn't do anything wrong, and the police officer goes on to respond with, we'll see how smart you are when the K9 come." And this goes on to support the facts of exaggerations made in the song, and this all kind of ties into the point of relatability throughout the song. How Jay-Z's calling all this controversy throughout on black driving, and calling this out in this entire song, and basically this song is got all this popularity and traction because so many African Americans could relate to this. And again and again throughout this song, this kind of notion was repeated, and this is kind of how a lot of African Americans talked about the song, and how Jay-Z was praised for black rights movements back in 2003. And another point that I wanted to go over really quickly was his response to the critics calling him out on his use of money. And that was just one of the first lines in the song, which kind of opposes the argument saying that his black rights songs are just for a cash grab. And he kind of uses, quickly goes over this in the first lines of the song. And this is just something I wanted to quickly go over before looking at the second song. Kind of relates to this, which kind of relates to this argument. So the second song is Jay-Z's "The Story of OJ." So, as I just mentioned, this song kind of reflects the second part of the argument, saying that his black rights songs, or saying his black rights songs are just a cash grab. So I believe this song represents it best because of the controversy that surrounds it and the exaggerations and stereotypes that surround the song. And just to go over some, I'll read over some quotes of Jay-Z singing or rapping. I told him, "Please don't die over the neighborhood. That's your mama renting. Take your drug money and buy the neighborhood. That's how you rinse it. You want to know what's more important than throwing away money at a strip club? Credit. You ever wonder why Jewish people own all the property in America? This is how they did it. I could have bought a place in Dumbo before it was Dumbo for like $2 million. That same building today is worth $25 million. That's how I'm feeling, Dumbo." So compared to the song we just went over, 99 Problems, instead of calling into light a problem with racism, it's going over criticism of black culture. Throughout the entire song, Jay-Z, as seen from the language, is criticizing the culture, although he seeks improvement, as the tone suggests here in the first quote, where he says, "Please don't die over the neighborhood. That's your mom renting. Take your drug money and buy the neighborhood." So Jay-Z is kind of saying that please don't waste your money dying over the neighborhood. This is kind of like referencing gangs, and he's trying to kind of begging at this point, asking the gang members to take their drug money and use it for something good, buy the neighborhood, do something good with the money. And this is kind of a recurring theme throughout the song, which can be seen in the third quote. I could have bought a place in Dumbo before it was Dumbo for like $2 million. The same building today is worth $25 million. Basically, this quote is kind of saying to invest and to use your money for something worthwhile, instead of, as the second quote, saying throwing it away at a strip club. So the tone seemed harsh yet urgent, and although at this point it didn't seem as bad, like the controversy wouldn't have been as bad if the music video didn't come out. And the music video kind of brings these stereotypes to a new level. So all of the criticisms and stereotypes that Jay-Z uses throughout the lyrics are just amplified throughout the entire music video. You can see that just through the depiction of the African American people in the video, and through the depiction of their stereotypes, as you can see in the bottom picture here. I don't think I have to say anything about these explicitly, as you can see kind of where the stereotypes come from and how the appearances kind of take into question a lot of stereotypes within African Americans. So this is kind of the point where controversy says it's being taken too far, and this is the point where the argument is an argument can be stated where Jay-Z is using the song for popularity and for a cash grab, and this is where the controversy that this sparks, the music video and the song sparks, just increases popularity. Although the song may become infamous, it still will become popular for Jay-Z. So these two songs take two very different approaches in language from Jay-Z himself. So the first song obviously is more using exaggerations, assumptions to take into light a black issue, African American issue of racism, while the second song is more criticism of Jay-Z on the black culture. Although it looks for improvement, it kind of takes this criticism too far, where it almost seems where it's just too controversial. And that's pretty much the two sides of the language that is being seen through Jay-Z songs. Thank you for listening on the podcast today. Hope you enjoyed.